already been here? Yeah. 12. Okay, appreciate everybody coming out today. Thought it was time to have sort of a middle of the season press conference and just talk a little bit where we are after break week. Sort of interesting. We played 7 games. Last year we played 14. We're hoping to play 14 this year. We don't know yet, obviously, but we're right in the middle of the race for the Eastern Division. And the next 4 or 5 weeks will determine who wins that. But we feel like we've really not played extremely well. We feel very fortunate to be 6-1. Won some close games. We've had 4 games within 3 points, and we won 3 out of 4. So we can count our blessings, especially the last one at Starkville. Didn't play very well on offense. Defensively, we played pretty well. Still had some errors here and there, but we need to really sort of tighten up. We need to coach better. Our guys they make too many assignment errors. Offense, defense, special teams, and we're just not as fundamentally sound as I think we should be. We should be playing better, and we're going to try to coach hard this open day through Thursday. Let the guys off this weekend, and see if we can't look better. Obviously, the loss of Marcus is huge. It's huge for us, but we got to regroup and keep on playing. Right now, Brandon Wiles is next in line. He's going to get his chance. Kenny Miles, we hope will be able to play. Had his wrist in a cast again at practice yesterday. We'll just have to wait and see how much he's going to be able to do. But Brandon's about it right now, and Eric Baker has a sprained ankle, but hopefully maybe by the next week Tennessee game he'll be ready to go. Statistically we're a lot like we were last year. A little bit better on offense and defense. As we know, we finished 7th in offense and defense. Right now we're 4th in offense and defense. Most people think, well, our defense played a lot better than our offense, and they probably are, especially scoring defense. We've scored a bunch of touchdowns, so our defense has done well with that. What happens in the SEC, the defenses are better than the offenses. These other conferences, they can score a lot of points and make a bunch of yards, but it seems like when these SEC teams go against each other, they don't pile up a bunch of yards and points, and that happens all through our conference. So anyway, we believe we can play better on offense and on defense, and we're going to try to coach a little bit better as we get going through the rest of the season. But again, Connor's only played 2 games. He's our quarterback, as we all know, and I think he can learn. I really think he can learn from maybe a bad play here and a bad play there. We're watching offensive tape at Mississippi State again this morning with the offensive staff, and when he threw the ball out of the ballpark to Alshon on the first fade route in the second quarter there, after we got that turnover, we thought that maybe the next time he got in that situation, he threw the beautiful jump pass that ended up being the winning touchdown. So hopefully we can get it up there where Alshon get his hands on it and make some plays like that. But anyway, we're except for Marcus and a few guys here and there, we've had some injuries at running back, most I've ever had as a coach. I have 3 guys, Sean Carson and Matt Coffey, although Matt hasn't really played much. He got hurt on special teams. But to have 3 running backs had knee ending in the season injuries is very unusual. But that's the way it's happened, and we got to move on and just try to play better. You know, our linemen got to play better, our backs, everybody's got to block, tackle, play assignments. So we're going to try to do that. Appreciate all of our fans they hanging with us. We're in position. We can't complain about our record. 4 really close games, won 3 out of 4. But we need to play better if we're going to have a shot to win the East. Okay.
Steve, I know the old motto is not to use injury as an excuse, but is it easy to tell this team that, considering it was Marcus and considering how much he meant to the offense?
Obviously, Marcus won the Eastern Division for us last year. You see all the big games we won with all his carries, Florida, Georgia game, and just on down the line, Tennessee game. But we got to go with what we got, and we all pulling for Marcus to have a very successful surgery, and we know he will work at rehabilitation as much as any guy in America will. So we believe he'll come back as strong or stronger than he ever has been. But we'll regroup and play with who we got, and that's all we can do. So we got plenty of players ready. We just need to play better. We need to block better, throw and catch, and block better. Scott?
Is Brandon a guy you can give the ball 20 to 25 times a game with more running back?
If we can make some yards, certainly we can hand it off to him 20, 25 times. He's got good size, good quickness, good speed, and he's ready to go. And Bruce Ellington's ready to go. We'll use him a little bit more back there, running with it. He's a natural runner with the ball. He could play some tailback, but I think we're going to leave him mainly at wide receiver and use him in the shotgun there a little bit also.
Steve, Kyle Nunn, what's his status? Do you expect him back?
Yeah, Kyle's he's got all kind of problems now. He actually went in the hospital last week with potential blood clot in his leg. I don't know if they told you about that. So he's on blood thinners, and he's out for the year. I don't think his back requires surgery, but he's definitely he's out for the year. He's hoping to maybe get a medical hardship and get a 6th year. We'll apply for that and see what happens.
Coach, back here, with all the issues that have happened this past week, you control your own destiny. Like you said, you're still 6-1. How do you get the team just focused on that and just winning out and like you said, winning the division?
Well, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on trying to play the game a lot better, play our assignments a lot better every time out. That's the only thing we really talk about. And next week with Tennessee, we'll just talk about trying to beat them. But again, playing our assignments. I'm a coach that always believes you worry about yourself a lot more than your opponent. Get your guys ready to play. So that's, the final outcome will take care of itself if we can control our own individual performance every play during the course of the game.
Coach, have you ever, in your coaching career, ever lost a player, offensively, defensively, that meant more to each side of the ball than Marcus means to this offense? And can you kind of help with the, can you draw on that experience at all?
No, probably not. Probably not as valuable as Marcus has been to us. But again, we got to move on, and we'll be pulling for Marcus to have 100% recovery and all that. And he was at the meeting yesterday. I said, "You didn't have to come to this thing." He said, "I'm right here." He's sitting in the meeting, but he's a wonderful team player, and just super guy. And we'll all be pulling for him. He'll be pulling for us, and hopefully we can get some guys to take up the slack.
Steve, given Kyle Nunn's situation, Marcus's injury, the Steven situations you kind of dealt with all year, have you been through a weirder season, a season that had more stuff, distractions, or whatever you want to call them, off the field?
No, not really. Not really. No, we're just worried about how we play. The distractions are not, they don't block and tackle. Unfortunate, the injury, of course, last week with Marcus, but other than that, our guys should be just playing the game, having fun playing the game, and just a lot of mental errors throughout the entire team that we're going to again keep trying to correct.
You mentioned that Bruce could play some running back for you, although you prefer to keep him wide. He said he hasn't played running back since rec league. How hard of a position is that to pick up and play in the SEC at a competitive level when you haven't done it in so long?
Well, it is more involved than just sticking him back there right now. So he's not going to be a running back that per se. We're not going to ask him to pick up all the blitzing linebackers and that kind of stuff, which is what running backs do nowadays. But he'll be in there in the Wildcat, and as we know, he can throw it. So we'll probably have some passes for him, a little bit more than we had last week, and let him get in there and go.
Coach, is it encouraging at all that despite the fact that you guys haven't played well, for a good part of the season, that you're still winning these games? These are games that maybe last year, the year before that, you would have lost.
Well, it's very encouraging. Yeah, it's very encouraging that somehow or another the offense put together a drive in the fourth quarter against Georgia, put one together last week somehow or another. It wasn't real pretty. Well, it wasn't all passes, a bunch of runs, a bunch of this, that, and the others. Scramble plays have occurred. That we have won 3 games being behind in the fourth quarter. That is, especially 2 conference games. That is encouraging. And hopefully that mindset will stay with us. So it hasn't happened a lot around here, but it's happening now. So at least our guys believe we're never out of the game, but we need to play a lot better. Offense, defense, special teams, everything. Coach better. I believe we're capable of doing that. So that's what's encouraging too. We've not played to our potential, I don't think, and hopefully we can get there. So I don't want you guys talking about how great our team is. This is not a great team by any means. We're a pretty good team. Maybe has a chance to be better, but you got to do it on the field rather than talk about potential and all this, that, and the other.
Coach, despite all the injuries and the losses, the way your defense has played, does that still give you some hope to have a big season? Yeah,
our defense is playing well, but we're giving up 40% on third downs, just like we did last year. That's not good. We should do better than that. We got to get better on third down defense and get those guys off the field. But fortunately, we toughened up in the red zone, made some stops. They missed some long passes. We had some good fortune last week. If you were there, were you at the game? Were you at it? You weren't at it. Okay. Yeah, they missed every long pass, and they had guys open, and a lot of stuff happened. So I told our team we all need to count our blessings every day. How we won that last game, because easily could have gone the other way, very easily.
Steve, you've lost 2 players who were key reasons why the team was picked to have such a great season, and now you're relying on some guys playing their first year really of college football to help pick up the slack. And we've seen that in recent years with true freshmen coming in and being able to play. What is it about these players? Is it just their skill level, better high school coaching?
Well, Connor's been here. He's been here, it's his 2nd year, and he actually graduated early from high school. So he's been here a full 2 years and so forth. And he actually beat Stephen out in preseason practice. He had a tough first quarter against East Carolina. It didn't work out for him, but he's a good player. So when it was his turn to play, we didn't say, oh gosh, Connor's never played much. He's proven he can play a bit. So he was ready, and he's played pretty well, and we think he can continue improving and even get a little bit better, a lot better, we think. But losing Marcus, obviously, a huge blow, and it adjusts our offense somewhat. But again, we've got a lot of other players, and they'll have the opportunity to contribute more.
Steve, if Kenny and Eric can't play against Tennessee, are Josh Hinch and Josh Blue ready to play in a collegiate game, or do you have to do something?
Yeah, Josh Hinch. Hinch is the next man in line. Josh Hinch. Y'all know who he is? He's from Knoxville, by the way. It's sort of interesting. He may be the backup tailback if Kenny can't go and Eric Baker's not ready to play. He's a good little back. He was in the spring game. I think he caught 4 or 5 passes. He's a nifty little fellow. He looks like Nicky Jones and Ace Sanders, and he looks like those guys. Long hair, about 5'8", something like that. So he's a pretty good little player, though. And if we had to play with him, we could do it. Josh Hinch, got a little walk on.
Coach, beginning of the season, a lot of big plays on special teams. They haven't seemed to be happening in recent games. Is that a problem? Is that an issue or something you're addressing?
Yeah, we're not quite making anything happen. There's no question about it. Frustrating for all of us. Coach Butler, we had actually a chance to block 2 punts last week. Got close, just didn't make the play. and we're not holding guys up real well. We're not blocking real well on kickoff returns. Yeah, I told Coach Butler, I said I was watching the highlights, I think the Texas-Oklahoma State game, back-to-back kickoff returns for touchdown. I said they are possible out there, but we're not even getting back to the 30 or so. It seemed like the East Carolina game, we got back to midfield, first one, and of course had one punt return. Yeah, we're still working on it, and I don't know if changing personnel is the answer, but we've not done much. We're in the bottom half of the league in about all special team categories. Our punter, Joey's doing pretty good. Joey's not an All-American punter, but he does okay. He's, for a young man that's never punted, I don't know if he punted in high school. I know he was a kicker, more of a field goal, extra point guy, and kickoff player. But he's doing well, and he shanks one every now and then, but he does pretty well back there.
Steve, a bit of a two-parter here. One, this is supposed to be the week that you made some determinations on Akeem Auguste and maybe team captains. Have there been decisions on those?
We're going to vote for captains Wednesday or maybe Thursday morning before the players leave. Akeem's actually having surgery within a week or so. Clint Haggard told us yesterday. He went up to see the specialist in Charlotte, and they put a plate in your foot and let it sit there for a while, and then they take it out, from what I understand. In fact, the running back at NC State, Mustafa Green, yeah, he's having the same surgery, I noticed. So that's what Akeem's going to have. And so he'll be redshirted definitely this year and be hopefully 100% by next season.
You keep telling us about all these guys now out for the season, and Steven Garcia recently left. Do you have concerns about your team's psyche right now? No, we got plenty of players. That's why you have 85 on scholarship. And our kickoff cover team, I think we got about 5 walk-ons out of the 11 out there playing. So we got plenty of players, and it's always neat to see new guys with energy and loving to play the game out there. Billy Byrne, walk-on fullback, linebacker type kid, made the last tackle on their kickoff in the game last week. So he's out there a lot. Of course, our best special team player, Marty Marquette, who just went on scholarship this year, he came as a walk-on also. I don't know if a lot of other schools have as much success with walk-ons, but we certainly do. And maybe we need to evaluate the guys we give scholarships to a little bit better around here. Yeah.
Steve,
Phil keeps writing them up about how great they are. So.
Steve, I guess during the bye week, this is a week that when you guys finish practice, you get to watch some SEC games, assess other teams, things like that. I mean, it seems like all year long, everybody's been talking about Alabama, LSU, and that's it. As if maybe whoever comes out of the East doesn't really have that much of a chance. Is there anything you kind of thought about in your own mind that, hey, maybe it's a little premature to anoint one of these guys as SEC champions already?
Oh, they're definitely the two best. They're two best right now, but we fortunately we don't play either one of them, and Georgia doesn't play either one of them, and that's why us and Georgia were preseason picks by almost everybody.
Yeah.
And that is the reason too, because of scheduling. So they're the two best, and their program is built, from the ground up, and big, strong linemen on both sides. I enjoy sort of watching the offensive linemen on some of these big, powerful teams, especially LSU and Alabama. They just control the line of scrimmage on both sides, and that's the easy way to win football games, as we all know. But they're all up there, and Alabama's got a lot of high offensive rankings right now. Does anybody know who their quarterback is? Can anybody tell them that without yelling out? I don't know.
Hey, Jim.
Don't they have 2 of them? Don't they play 2 or now?
Pretty much just one.
They just and now one. Okay, I just didn't realize it. And of course, LSU plays a couple. I know those guys' names. But that just shows you, a powerful team. The quarterback is not a key player at all in Alabama. They throw a little bit, but they're just a power running team, play defense and so forth.
Coach, can you talk about the play of DJ Spurrier this season? I mean, he's not the headliner in your defensive backfield, but he looks like he's had a very solid season back there.
Yeah, he had his best game last week, 12 tackles and an intercept. So he's coming around, playing his assignments much better, and he's a good tackler. So it's good to see DJ play. He's a young man with a lot of potential back there, and he's playing well.
Coach, you had mentioned you like watching the offensive lines at Alabama and LSU. What can you do to get your offensive line clicking?
Well, you got to train them. Like Sean Elliott said, we got to train these guys. You bring them in, like Brandon Shell. He's being redshirted this year, and hopefully he has a real productive redshirt year of getting stronger and quicker. The weight room, the running drills, to where he's ready to be a starter next year. We're hoping Brandon Shell's going to be ready to anchor that left or right tackle position. But that's what you hope to do. Bring them in, have a lot of third, fourth, fifth year players playing. We actually have a couple, T.C. Campbell, Rokevius. They've been here a while, but we're not as dominant as I wish we were. We're not real dominant at all. But our guys are doing okay. We're doing okay up front, but we're not as, as a big, powerful type line as you would hope to have. Cody Gibson starting at right tackle, redshirt freshman over there. A.J. Cans, I guess he's a second-year guy. But those are two starters right now.
Coach, I think you said you were going to coach harder this week. Can you explain what that means?
Well, harder than most open date weeks. Most open dates we'd run around a little bit, let the young guys play. We got to coach the older guys this week. We got to coach guys that are playing the game to see if we can't line up and snap it, hand it off, and look like we know what we're doing. So we got some coaching to do this week as well as the rest of the year. So we'll be a little bit more involved next 3 days.
Steve, with Kyle hoping to get a medical redshirt, how will that work? We have to just hope for the NCAA. I mean, because I think his first year he was just redshirt to get stronger.
Yeah, anytime you have an injury that puts you out for a year, you just apply for it. Rodney Paul got his 6th year. Rodney's been here about as long as I have. Rodney and I, we came together. So you just apply for it, state your case. I think it goes to the conference first, and then maybe to the NCAA. I believe the conference can grant it. If not, then it'll go to the NCAA.
Steve, why do you think over the last couple of years that the Western teams in the SEC have had a little bit of an advantage? Do you think it just runs in cycles? Like maybe a decade ago, maybe it was some Eastern teams, Florida, Georgia, that maybe had the edge?
I don't really have the answer for that. But again, like you said, in the 90s, it was Florida and Tennessee in the East pretty much, and those teams are a little down from where they used to be. So when some are down, it gives other people a chance to be up. And the Western side, those are strong programs. Well, they all are. Shoot, Auburn. Don't forget about Auburn over there. Gosh, they're 5-2, and they weren't picked to do much at all. I admire what they've done. They're getting the most out of the players they got. Seem to be.
Steve, a couple of officiating questions from Mississippi State. What was the explanation they gave you on the running into the punter? And also, in your review of the film, did you notice some holding on Mississippi State offensive line that might not have been called?
We've turned in several calls. We're not supposed to tell you what they tell us. I know our special team coach, John Butler, said if that's not roughing the punter, I don't know what is. Because he sort of fell right into Joey's leg. But referee called just running in and not roughing. So it's a judgment call, and that's the way he saw it.
Coach, last year you went for it 6 times all
Yeah.
year on 4th down. This year, 18 times already. What's made you more aggressive on 4th down?
I don't really know. We were watching the tape, and I said, we shouldn't have gone for that one. We were in midfield in the 3rd quarter and went for a 4th and 2 and made it, fortunately, but no, I should not have gone for that one. Game was tied. I think we were just a little frustrated we couldn't make a 3rd and 1 running the ball. So we actually threw it out there, and then we tried to run again. We missed some blocking assignments. Yeah, guys, we thought he knew to block that guy, but I don't guess he did know to block that guy. So I just call it bad coaching. If our guys don't know who to block, we're not coaching very well. So anyway, we probably went for a few more. But I'll tell you what it was, the game last week's the first time in my coaching career we made as many 4th downs as we made 3rd downs. Made 3 of each. 3 of 5 and 3 of 15. How about that, Rick? You ever heard of that?
Never.
Well, it happened last week. It happened last week somehow. And we still won. That was even more amazing.
Steve, you've mentioned to us several times that you're very aware of where you and Georgia sit in terms of the race. Do you mention that to your players? Do you feel like they know that?
Just a little bit, just a little bit. Just, hey, Georgia may not lose another if we're going to win the East, and that's our goal. We talk about our goals briefly, and then they go practice. And once or twice a week, man, I might mention that. Just if you want to win the East, there's no room for error now. We can't. Last year we won it with a 5-3 record. 5-3 is not going to get it this year. That's for sure.
Anything else for Coach?
Okay. Appreciate everybody coming by.
Thanks.
All right.